All right, this is Revan with Dungeon Crawlers Radio, as well as...
Guy named Joe, you're welcome.
And the great, mighty, and powerful Lord Flagoon.
We are sitting with Ted Raimi, and we want to say thank you for giving us the time to interview.
You're welcome. You're welcome, mighty and powerful Lord Flagoon. It's very nice to be here.
Yes. Forgot the rest of our names, but that's okay.
I'm sorry. How? You can't top that.
You can't.
No.
What's your name? What's your actual name? I'm sorry.
I'm Revan. And
Redden.
Since he's Joe, we just call
Joe.
him a guy named Joe.
A guy named Joe. Well, I'm sort of thinking if you guys want to be memorable on your vidcast, you really should come up with some names to rival Lord Flagoon's here. For example, Captain Blaster of Destructoid.
Nice.
Okay?
Very nice.
You can be, say, how about Commander Capehead? That's something. So we have Commander Capehead, Lord Flagoon, and...
Captain Blaster of something.
Yeah.
I already forgot it.
It's not bad. I'm telling you what. You got a band name right there, if nothing else, if you can throw that out. So you're being in shape.
So, we're going to start. That's actually a good suggestion on the names. But did you want to start with the question first?
I'm curious. What was it like on your first acting gig? Because I picture you as young, very impressionable. Can you tell us what that would be like?
Well, you're I'm trying to remember what it was. My very first one, like back to the first time I was ever paid for acting. Sure. Well, I was 17, and I was doing an industrial film in Detroit for Chrysler, for a minivan. What industrial films are is they're made for companies so that they can show their employees stuff. So it's pretty dry. I walked on set, I had what they just call an ear. It's basically just something that feeds you. It's, before there was scrolling lines in front of the camera, But, so they would talk and I would just repeat because there were like 10 pages of technical dialogue. The XR2 minivan can be sold in these 3 ways. Emphasize the doors. They're good for mom to get into. Crap like that. That's what I was doing. It was frightening. I was completely terrified. But I thought it was really fun. And then lunch came. And I'm like waiting for someone to, hand me the bill, but it never came. I was like, whoa, free lunch. This is pretty good. And this is really fun. And then I got my paycheck. That was awesome. And I was only 17. I wasn't even old enough to vote. And I was like, this is freaking great. And then after that, I started doing more industrial films. And I was living at home, making a pretty good chunk of change, just doing stuff for Ford and GM and Chrysler. And I thought, this is great. And the impression I got was, I'd like to do this as much as possible, as often as possible. But yeah, I was pretty scared, I guess. But you get over it fast when, paycheck comes and you can buy, in those days, a Blondie album, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, which is all you need, right?
Yeah. I remember with my money, too, I also bought Culture Club, and that was really a mistake. Shouldn't have bought that album. But Blondie, that was a good album. Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
No, that works. You got
something
else?
Well, I was going to follow up on that one. So are there other records then that were instrumental?
Music?
Yeah, sure.
Music that was instrumental? Oh, well, like now or then or what? Just generally?
Let's start with then and then move up to what models you now.
I'd say, what's instrumental for me was I was really into Stray Cats in those days. I was into Blondie. I really liked. I liked a little later on Susie and the Banshees. Pretty great. These are all probably mysteries to most of you guys watching this. We had to buy an album. An album looks like a little disc. And you put it on it. Go to Wikipedia. You'll figure it out. Google it. You'll figure it out. But we. In the days, obviously before CDs or MP3s, we just have to buy the damn things. And, in those days, too, if you bought an album and one song was good, that was a great album. Like, you go, oh, there's a song I can listen to. It's awesome. Unless you already knew there was a hit on it or something. So that influenced me then. These days, I like, I'm sort of into I find this old movie music from the 60s and 70s. You can find them on these vintage websites. All this music has become public domain because none of these companies have taken it. So, these strange kind of like quasi porn music sites, and they're fascinating. It's fascinating, this music. Some of it's really quite good. I like a lot of 60s jazz. Big fan of Dean Martin, like Dino. I listen to classical. I like Brahms, and I like Schubert. I like Beethoven, but I like only Beethoven right at the beginning. Then it gets really boring. First 5 minutes of every Beethoven sonata. No, sonatas are all great, but the full orchestral stuff, except for the 9th and the 5th, are just boring. He's a highly overrated composer. And what else was this? I listen to a lot of Marshall Crenshaw, and I like a guy named Freddie Johnson, who I never miss in concert. So there you go. So
what is it like being kind of not like the main character in most of these movies you've been in, but characters that are very, memorable, like Joxer from Xena and Hercules?
Yeah.
The annoying guy that keeps poking his head in and out with J.J. Jameson during Spiderman.
Right. Well, it's a good question. You know what? It's great. That's essentially what character actors do. You have your lead guys, that everything... The lead guy makes things... Sorry, the lead guy essentially reacts to circumstances in the movie caused by the character actors. Bad guys, the goofy guys.
Yeah.
But it's boring to play the lead. I did that twice, and I don't ever want to do it again. Because all you're doing is just reacting, but as a character actor, you get to really act upon those characters. So it's a blast. You get to do something really fun, off the wall, You get to, do stuff that directors usually want to tone you down a bit. But in exchange for that, you get the juiciest lines, and you only work for a day or two. Then you go home. Those poor schmucks are on set now for another 3 weeks. I'm driving home going, I'm done with the movie. They're like, oh, crap, we got to go late. This sucks. Wish I was Ted Raimi. So, I love it. I love that life. As an actor, I love, now I'm just a writer and director. But, but I do try to infuse the acting that is in my movies with, that kind of a vibe that I love so much as a character actor. I never stop an actor if he's got something to say, on camera. We'll see, see what happens. That's what I say. So.
All right. And what is one of your favorite characters that you've played in the past?
Favorite characters? I wish I get asked that a lot, and I can't really answer that because it's not that I don't want to.
There's just a lot of...
Well, my enjoyment out of any movie or TV show that I do as an actor just comes from so many factors that you can have great lines and have a really crappy time. So that seems like I did a lousy character, but it really wasn't. So, I think I had a great time on the Spider-Man movies, probably because of J.K. Simmons, who played J. Jonah Jameson. He and I would get there. I would come in from doing something else, and I'd be tired, and he'd just have all this energy. He'd be like, hey, Ted, come on. Are you going to come in there? And then you're going to say the line, and I'll just repeat that back to you. And I'll be like, oh, okay, he's got so much crazy energy. He just brings everybody up, They're just great guys to have around like that. So working with JK made that kind of an awesome experience. That's the last one I can remember that was just nonstop fun, Nice. But on the other hand, if you have too much fun on the set, you get a crappy movie. That's all there is to it. It's like anything in life. Yeah. You see this in DVD interviews all the time, the worst, crappiest movies ever made. And in the DVD interview, they go, I don't understand it. We're having so much fun. We're laughing the whole time. That should put two and two together. You're jerking around on set, you will not get a good movie. Yeah. So they're not really fun to make. They're hard to make.
It's a business.
It's a business. It's a blue-collar business, too, at that. You're lifting boxes. You're hauling crap. You're eating out of a crappy cart, donuts and stale coffee. But that said, you do get something that amazing that I would not do, that I wouldn't trade anything in my life for. So.
Have you had any good, like, really memorable fan moments? Like, when you go out to one of these little conventions, like, did you have somebody, like, come up and start singing the Joxer, the Mighty song all together? Anything?
Yes, that happens all the time. That happens.